Women's Legislators Caucus signing. There's still a few seats, so please sit down, and you're also welcome to stand. I have a great pleasure of being very brief to introduce the 8th Governor of the State of Hawaii, Governor David E. Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Like in previous years, I think it's so appropriate that we join here to sign all of the Women's Caucus bills together. It's a tremendous opportunity, I think. You know, as a husband and father of 2 daughters, and former colleagues to many of you, I truly am amazed at the great work that the Women's Caucus, supported by all of you advocates, do on behalf of the issues most important to women all across the state. There will be 8 bills that we are signing today, and I'll go through those. First is Senate Bill 2351, which seeks to address the wage disparities among women by prohibiting employers from asking for a salary history or using it to determine how much a new employee will be paid. Senate Bill 2990, which sets the groundwork for a paid family leave system in Hawaii by analyzing the best framework for the establishment of paid family leave and submitting that to the legislature. House Bill 1489, which brings Patsy Mink's groundbreaking Title IX law into Hawaii laws by prohibiting discrimination based on sex or gender identity in any state educational program or activity. Senate Bill 2340, which preserves certain benefits under the Affordable Care Act in Hawaii law, such as extending dependent coverage to age 26, and I know that I utilized that provision quite usefully as my children became older, and prohibiting health insurance companies from denying coverage based on pre-existing conditions. You know, and I'm proud of the fact that Hawaii passed Hawaii prepaid health care more than 45 years ago. I think it has served us well, but pre-existing conditions clearly was one of the best provisions of the Affordable Care Act, making sure that insurers did not have the option of denying coverage based on health conditions that existed prior to employment. House Bill 2133, which allows citizens to file non-notarized complaints against police officers for internal investigation purposes. House Bill 2131, which creates a Hawaii sexual assault response and training program to address sexual assault evidence collection kits and inform victims of their rights under laws. I think I, as well as many of you, were surprised that rape evidence kits were collected and not processed. And I think that this is an extension of that, ensuring that when we collect evidence, we make sure that it gets tested and acted on. House Bill 2134 prohibits threats or acts to disclose images or videos and applies our state's violation of privacy provisions to minors in order to address the realities of the offensive in the digital age. And finally, Senate Bill 2346, which establishes an address confidentiality program to help survivors of domestic abuse and sexual assault to relocate and keep their location of the physical address confidential. I really just wanted to thank all of the legislators involved, both men and women in the Women's Caucus, for really being focused on putting these issues forward. Just wanted to thank all of the advocates for your persistent passion in working on these issues. I know that they are not easy, and solutions, although you would think it would be easy to find, are often complex and interacting. So I really do want to thank all of you for your commitment and passion to address these issues. And with that, I'd like to invite Senate President Ron Kochi to say a few words. Thank you, Governor.
I'm simply here to lend my support to the Women's Caucus and really want to give credit where it's due, and I'd like to call Senators Baker and Phelan, the co-conveners of the Women's Caucus, to please come up and give remarks on behalf of the Senate and talk about their hard work.
I didn't mean to take a seat.
Aloha and good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Governor, for tremendous support and being willing to sign in a public venue all of the hard work that the women legislators started, and have an opportunity to engage our colleagues and help move this legislation forward. I also want to thank Senate leadership on behalf of the women senators, because you have supported us all along the way when we asked to come together to go to visit the various neighbor islands to look at how things were happening over there. You supported our efforts, and some of the legislation we have as a result is from that. I'd like to just highlight one particular bill. Some of these bills are consumer protection, some of them are health, and the one that I think is really important for all of us was one that Governor mentioned. It's 2340. We have a list of 8 bills this year. We had a number of them last year. I remember when I came into the legislature a while back when Senator Mazie Hirono was in the House and was really the one that helped pull us together. We had a hard time getting legislation passed, so we've come a long way from that. And I think by putting bills like embedding in our statutes the access to reproductive services, you can't discriminate for those based on gender. You cannot discriminate on somebody with a pre-existing illness, because some of us who have had a cancer would be considered pre-existing illness. And prior to that, our rates would go up, as well as being able to keep our young people on their parents' plan until they're 26. So I thank you all for all of the help that you've given to the caucus, to the efforts, because it's not just 8 or so of us that are in the legislature that happen to be female that it takes to push these along. It takes all of the people in this room and some who couldn't be with us today.
I want to echo Senator Baker's thanks to our colleagues in the legislature. They've been very, very helpful. And a lot of hard work that's been done over multiple years. Of the 8 bills that you see this year, just as an example, 2 of the bills we've been working on for years to find long-term solutions. The sex assault kits, better known as the rape kits. A couple years ago, we did pass legislation requiring the backlog to be tested, but we wanted to make sure that we're not going to have a backlog in the future. And so we've worked for several years to get legislation passed this year that the governor is signing. I want to recognize some of our partners in the audience. We have some organizations, including the prosecutor in Detroit visit, who is well known nationally and helping to bring to the forefront the issue of the untested rape kits and to start to begin not only testing them, but also prosecuting the cases where there are hits, so that we can reduce the offenders who are out on the streets who are chronic offenders that the doctor's tests are uncovering. And another bill that we worked for years is the ability to file a anonymous complaint against a police officer for an internal administrative investigation due to domestic violence. Because in many cases, the victims of domestic violence, or the family members, or even the neighbors who hear this, do not want their name on the complaint because they're afraid of retaliation against the victim if the complaint is forwarded. And up until we get this legislation passed, and thank you very much, Governor, for signing it, it had to be a signed, notarized complaint before there could be an administrative internal investigation. And so these are examples of bills that the Women's Caucus and our male colleagues in the legislature, and thanks to the governor with the loan of the Attorney General's office and others, that we've been able to work on for years to get some solutions. So while we're here to celebrate this year, and we really need to do this, and I'm glad about it, I also want to remind those in the audience who may be frustrated because there were some legislation that we didn't get passed. We're going to come back. And we want you to come back with us and to work on them again next year. We want to make sure the study that takes a look at family leave does actually get implemented. So we do have some family leave policy in Hawaii. It's great that we laid some groundwork on Title IX and state law, given what's going on federally, but we need enforceability provisions to be added to that. We need to look at it. And certainly there is a lot more work that we need to do on domestic violence. And I look forward to working with all of our partners out there, because thanks to the efforts that you've done, the testimony that you provide, and the unflagging presence of many hearings, we've been able to get a lot of legislation through. And I'm glad to see a lot of younger members of our Hawaii citizens joining us today, because we need a lot of people to help carry this motion forward.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you so much, Senators. And I'd like to invite to the podium as Representative Della Al-Baladi.
So I promise my comments will be brief. They will meander a little. We're going to start with the quote and end with that same quote. So I woke up this morning and I thought about the quote, "Women's work is never done." I did a good thing that researchers now do. I Googled it. Couldn't find out where it was from. There was some hint that it might have been a proverb, an old English rhyme, a poem. But what it ultimately led me to were two poems by Maya Angelou. And I think we can all agree that Maya Angelou is certainly an inspiration, of course, for many of the people in this room. The two poems I came up with were Women Work and Phenomenal Woman. So, as Senator Thielen, one of my co-conveners of the Women's Legislative Caucus, said, women's work is never done. We have so much more work ahead of us, but this is the appropriate time to take a pause and to celebrate what we have done, what we have accomplished. In particular, I would like to, and I apologize in advance because I'm not going to acknowledge everybody, but there are two particularly phenomenal women in the Women's Legislative Caucus who deserve special recognition, I think. One is a very quiet co-convener of the Women's Legislative Caucus, and we don't appreciate how important Senate Bill 2340 is, which is preserving the Affordable Care Act and these laws. This is Senator Roz Baker. She has led this caucus fearlessly through many difficult issues. She has balanced, when you look at the diversity of the bills we have, she has juggled all of these bills, but really kept her eye on the prize, which is, we all think the Affordable Care Act is protected, but we see it under attack now. We see it with the changing Supreme Court, that all of those provisions that we thought were safe are no longer safe. So Senator Baker is truly phenomenal in my book, because she quietly worked that bill through the legislative process, did not take her eye off the ball, and made it go forward. The second woman I'd like to recognize is really someone I believe is truly one of the toughest advocates for families out there, and that's Senator Jill Takuda. She is so hardworking, you don't understand how working she is. When we tell the story of paid family leave in the state of Hawaii, and when we tell the story of Title IX, you know, us legislators know what in the wee nights of the hours, and we're hammering out those final details. And Senator Jill Takuda, as many of you know, journeyed with her from the beginning of session. She met with the advocates on a weekly basis. It's a tough issue. We still have work to do on it. But what that group accomplished, what Senator Jill Takuda accomplished by bringing that group together, was to firm up community consensus that paid family leave is something we all deserve. That is the most fundamental building block that we will need moving forward. Now, it's not all about women, right? And we women know that. So I have to thank so much the men in our caucus, the men in leadership. Again, when the stories are going to be told, and again, I'm sorry to all the men who are here, but there are three particular men, you know, who really helped push these through. Four, I would say. Senator Kochi for his unflagging support of the Women's Legislative Caucus. House Speaker Scott Psyche, who in the wee hours is working on that Title IX and paid family leave bill with us. Senator Gilkeith Agaran, who is not here, but also was working in those wee hours as we talked about what does the Title IX bill look like. And let me shed just a little bit of light on the Title IX bill. So we are doing something no other state has done. We have codified that. When other states are relying on the federal law for protections for women, girls, LGBT students in our communities, in our school settings. And we have this opportunity. We took a pause. I know some people are not happy that we paused. We didn't decide what the enforcement was because we want to make sure we do the very best and look at all the best enforcement out there. And a lot has changed since the 1970s, since we first had Title IX. So we have to take a pause. And the last person I need to recognize amongst the men is Representative Aaron Johansson. He was Jill's partner in crime at every single one of those community advocate meetings, or many of them, on the phone, locking arms with the women in the community. And again, we could not do this without you. So thank you so much, Aaron, for taking the lead for the legal committee on our side. So I said I was going to end back on the quote, "Women's work is never done." I have to thank the community because we have so much in this package that requires us to come back. And we need everybody's help in it, as Senator Freeman pointed out. We need the help of all of our legislators, wherever they may be, wherever they go. We need the community to come back and provide guidance to us for things like Title IX, for the domestic violence package. We left much on the table, so there's much more work to be done, and I'm looking forward to doing it with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Della. So we'll be signing the measures. I would invite all the legislators. I would just want to close by adding that, I think the Women's Caucus package year after year really does demonstrate that when we are working together, we can do great things and focus on those priorities, agree to disagree when we can't quite get the specific language, but stay committed to take it up again next year, and then really move forward on those that we do get agreement and work through all of the details that is so important to really having a law that can make meaningful impact on behalf of the women in our community. So just wanted to congratulate everyone involved, the legislators and all of the advocates for being focused and really being committed to find common ground to move forward on so many important issues. Mahalo and aloha. I'll sign the bills and invite the legislators. Okay, first measure up is Senate Bill 2351, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 1, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to equal pay. Is now law in the state of Hawaii is Act 108. Next up is Senate Bill 2990, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 2, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to family leave. Is now law in the state of Hawaii is Act 109. House Bill 1489, House Draft 1, Senate Draft 2, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to civil rights. Is now law is Act 110. Okay, Senate Bill 2340, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 1, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to health insurance and the Affordable Care Act. Is now law is Act 111. Next is House Bill 2133, House Draft 1, Senate Draft 1, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to police departments. Is now law is Act 112. House Bill 2131, House Draft 1, Senate Draft 2, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to sexual assault. It's now Laws Act 113. House Bill 2134, House Draft 1, Senate Draft 1, Conference Draft 1, bill for an act relating to violation of privacy. Is now law is Act 114. And finally, Senate Bill 2346, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 1, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to address confidentiality. Is now law is Act 115. Congratulations to all.